My name's Bill Clee. I've been homeless now for about 5 years. I was taking care of somebody and working part-time for him, and he died. That's how I became homeless. I don't know, I wandered around, I just walked around, and I thought that I could get in touch with some of my friends and explain my position and see if I could get them to help me as far as living quarters go and stuff like that.
Any luck?
I was just thinking. I did for a couple weeks, but that evaporates quick. Mostly sleep on the trains and just ride the train all night.
And what's that like?
Well, you got a bunch of desperados on the train all night, and if you fall asleep, they try to cut your pockets, so you got to kind of hide your possessions in your sock or something like that.
Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah.
So, what did you do in the meantime, in the 6 months between becoming homeless and starting with Streetwise?
I sat in the library, I wandered around aimlessly. Like I said, I thought my friends would help me, but you think that way for the first 6 months. You think you're going to get back on your feet, you're going to get a job, you're going to get
no more water.
Then you realize that your friends aren't really your friends anymore because you can't do the things you used to do with them.
Like what?
Like you go out and bowl or play pool, whatever you did, you know. You can't afford to do it, you don't have the time, you don't have a place to stay, so you don't have the similarity anymore. They slowly, more or less, stop talking to you or avoid you or look at you strange. How have I changed? I think I have less class, and I have less pride. I think when I had a place to stay, I had a lot of pride and more class.
What do you mean by class?
Well, not asking someone for something, try to get it on your own, your job. Or at least I feel like I have less class.
I don't know, I used to be the shyest person in the world. You know, but, a friend of mine, I call him a friend, he said, why don't you do the big issue? So he took me down to Farringdon when it was there. I started that, and I'm just stood there like a twat, basically. And he was selling across the road from me, and he's come across and he's given me a verbal kick up the arse.
What did he say?
You have got to talk to people, otherwise you won't get anywhere. And now I talk to fucking everybody. When I was first on the street, it was extremely scary, because I didn't know what to expect. You couldn't get in there till 6 in the evening, and you had to be out at 6 in the morning. You know, I mean, you got fed and whatever, you know, but you had some weird characters.
My name is Sam. I'm 43. I've got 5 children. I've got 1 grandson and another grandchild due to be born in October. I'm ex-homeless and ex-drug user, and I now work for the Big Issue as a volunteer coordinator helping other homeless people. And I started drinking a little bit, and then one night at a party somebody introduced me to the joys of crack cocaine. And I thought this was a really nice little drug, and you could do this as a party drug and just do it at weekends. And I soon found out that you can't, and within a very quick period of time, less than 9 months, I found myself sleeping on the Strand. So homelessness is something that can happen to anybody. You don't really realise it until it's happened. Okay, well, the Big Issue is a magazine that's sold on the streets. It's sold by homeless people. It's the only charity in the UK at the moment that's actually helping homeless people to be independent, rather than just giving out soup and sandwiches and providing facilities for showers. They enable homeless people to earn a living. It was set up 19 years ago by a man called John Bird and Gordon Roddick. And how it works, at present the homeless people buy the magazine for 85 pence and they sell it to the public for £1.70. And they're self-employed, they have to be responsible for buying their magazines, standing on a pitch and selling them.
Hello, I'm Stephen Farrell-Wood. I became homeless in 2001. Prior to that, I was a social services manager. I have a consummate interest in art and sculpture and things creative, but I had a very, very stable family life with a beautiful woman and two very beautiful children. And through my own folly, it crumbled in 2001, and I went from having a beautiful house, a beautiful wife, two very beautiful children, and a very stable and well-paid job to sleeping in a cemetery.
How did that feel, sort of going from being on the administrative end to the receiving end of a social service?
Because I had a full psychiatric breakdown, although I didn't engage with any psychiatric services, I didn't really feel it, to be honest with you. I was like, I wasn't really there. Obviously, in retrospect, I thought about it. And strangely, one of the positives about being homeless, and there are one or two, although it has to be said, a number of people you meet who are homeless actually quite enjoy the joie d'affaire of being homeless. I hated almost every moment of it. My father tracked me down to a homeless hostel just outside of Brighton, a place called Port Slade on the south coast. And completely out of the blue, one of my colleagues in the hostel came to me and said, "Stephen, your dad's at the door," and I hadn't seen him or spoken to him for like maybe 18 months. And my father's initial reaction, I came down, obviously quite delighted to see him, surprised, and he said to me, "Stephen, what are you doing here with these people?" And I had to explain to him, "Daddy, I am one of these people now." And it was like, even now, he has asked me not to mention the fact that I've been homeless if I return to Ireland, which is my cultural, ancestral home. And I've just flatly refused to do that. It's a huge part of my life, and I'm not ashamed of having been homeless, and perhaps even maybe being homeless at some point in the future, although I would do my damnedest to prevent that, but I'm not ashamed of it in any way, shape or form.